of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Radio Global, Who Knew Productions, JSA Media, and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition. Strap in.
Straight Talk with Matt Hasley. Every Monday and Friday, 9 p.m. Central Time. Only on Armed Radio Global.
So the attitude is not going to speed things up any bit at all. I'm going to ask you to speak into the mouthpiece very clearly.
It is Monday night. It's time for some straight talk. Man, we got stuff going on crazy. It is always good to be with you. February 22nd. Hard to believe it's February is almost over. Rocketing through the month. A lot of stuff going on. Of course, we had a tragedy in Kalamazoo. Some nutcase wanted to go out and shoot people. But the bad part of it is the liberal left wants to politicize it. So there was a report out. I'll get to that here shortly. And then we also got some information that came across that U.S. military planned to reopen the JFK assassination. And a former CIA officer came out and spoke about Benghazi. And also Apple Saga. I don't know if you've been paying attention to that, but if Apple has to give up and give in, it could be, they're talking about the Pandora's box. So, but no, we went, the current information on the Kalamazoo was apparently the guy was arrested. The man that was accused of killing 6 people and wounding 2 others was seeking a particular person when authorities say he shot the first victim. The prosecutor, Jeff Getting, said Monday that Jason Dalton called a woman by a different name to get her attention on Saturday evening before shooting her multiple times. The woman shot outside her apartment on the eastern edge of the county survived and has undergone surgery. Police and prosecutors maintain the shootings were at random and haven't revealed a motive. It says police and prosecutors maintain it says Dalton, who authorities gave several rides as an Uber driver on the same evening, appeared in court Monday and was denied bond, which I have no problem with that. He should be. But his victim list were, let's see here, I got a listing of them. It says among the victims of lies were 60-year-old Mary Jo Nye of Battle Creek, her 62-year-old sister-in-law Mary Lou Nye of Baroda, 68-year-old Barbara Hawthorne, 74-year-old Dorothy Brown, both of Battle Creek. All 4 women were with 14-year-old girl, had dinner at Cracker Barrel, went to see a show at Miller Auditorium, returned to the restaurant to pick up their car. The other 2 victims were fatally shot were father and son, Rich Smith and his 17-year-old son, Tyler Smith. We're looking at cars in the lot at Sealy Ford Kia in Kalamazoo when they were shot and killed. The thing I have a problem with this, the media on this is, I've talked to people about, hey, did you see the shooting in Kalamazoo and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no. And some people said, yeah, I saw it, but, I haven't seen much about it. So the problem I have with it is if it would have been a Muslim man and woman or anybody or Muslim man went and shot everybody, it would be all over the news. It would be every single waking moment. They would have, helicopter coverage, and they'd have me going to talk to everybody and neighbors and everything, and it would be ridiculous coverage. Or if it would have been a police officer or a white guy shot 6 black people, it would have been covered like crazy. But it was one white guy killed 6 white people, and you don't hear much about it. I talked to people about it, and they're like, "No, I what happened?" They sensationalize. They want you to do is the media wants to drive a wedge in you to get you to hate each other. It's so ridiculous right now. Anybody to get shot. If it would have been a white guy shoot anybody, it's wrong. It doesn't matter who they are. Just as wrong as if it would have been a Muslim guy to shoot anybody. Murder is murder. It's just as bad anyway. But I just think it's ridiculous. It didn't fit the agenda to blow it out of proportion on the media. Nobody wanted to watch it any length of time because it doesn't sell papers. It doesn't sell ad spots. It's pretty sad when it gets to that point. Those 6 victims. And then you have the liberal left that wanted to politicize it. Let me see if I can find an article. They talked about that. It was, let's see if I can find it. I got so many articles here. I got to list a ton of stuff. Let's see here. It's, I put it down as my first article, but I got a list of about 30 of them, and I'm trying to find it. Might be on the second page. That's how many things I got. Oh, here we go. This was an article that went out on InfoWars, which is Alex Jones, and the article was written by. The article is titled "Dear Liberals, Politicizing Kalamazoo Shooting, You Dumb Racist Morons." That's what the article's titled. And this is off Louder with Crowder. And it says, "You dishonest, hobbling bags of human excrement." So what it says, it's so the Kalamazoo shooting happened. A tragedy of epic proportions. And he says, and of course my prayers go out to the victims and their families. Well, I agree. The 6 people were killed, 2 others wounded in a series of random shootings in Michigan Saturday. 14-year-old girl was shot and seriously injured. Authorities earlier said that she died. Jason Brian Dalton, 45, was taken into custody early Sunday and was being questioned over the shootings at 3 different locations in Kalamazoo County. There's no connection between any of them. It appears to be random. Kalamazoo County Undersheriff Paul Matyas, or Matyas, I'm not sure I pronounce it, Matyas, said this is the worst case scenario that any community can have. I agree. But window mere hours after the tragedy of Kalamazoo. It says, I find myself in a familiar position. At the time, we'd be focused on mourning and collecting the facts. Instead, you decide to politicize, obfuscate, and yes, flat out lie about the travesty at hand. And this, they said that this is, they're talking about the, it says gun control, white terrorism, Black Lives Matter, more outrage, more hashtags. It says, I want to keep this piece short and sweet in order to hopefully drive the point home. So allow me to present two very important facts on the outset. First, the definition of terror, straight from filthy bastion of right-wing propaganda, is that Merriam-Webster. Simple definition of terror: the use of violent acts to frighten people in an area as a way of trying to achieve a political goal. Well, I don't think he was trying to achieve a political goal. It says, okay, fact number 2. Islam is not a race. It is not very specifically prescribed religious and political ideology. It is important to note, as seen by the rabble of uneducated, borderline, functionally retarded leftist tweets following the shooting, before the bodies were even cold. This is the article coming off InfoWars. It says, CNN breaking news. Suspect in deadly shooting, Rampage, Kalamazoo, Michigan, identified, and it says his name. And then it says, Mr. T, come back. He is a white terrorist. I wonder where Trump is going to deport him to. And then the next tweet came out, and it said, John Fuselang. Kalamazoo shooting was done by a white male, so mental illness, your Twitter drinking game word for the day. And then next tweet comes out, Black History. Why must the media always demonize mental illness for the sake of generating excuses for white terrorists? And then CNN breaking news says the same thing again, and somebody else posted, the event involves taking 6 innocent, which they misspelled innocent, people. Why isn't it considered an act of terrorism? It would have to be for political gain, but they don't read to understand what that has, the definition means. They want to turn the definition to what they feel it is. And then Lauren Ritta, San Bernardino, hashtag white boys, it's terror. They're brown. Please, wait, no, yeah, it was white boys. See, right about everything ever, all along. It's amazing how if anybody would spew this talk the other direction, they would be completely attacked by the liberal left. If you mourn for the deaths, they think that that getting rid of this is a way for them to go again and rally to get rid of guns. If I recall, there was 3 or 4 knifings in New York City. It had nothing to do with a gun. There was a guy in McDonald's, veteran, approached by some Utes, you want to call them, Utes, maybe if you're watching My Cousin Vinny. But they approached him and asked him if he believed in Black Lives Matter. Well, he tried to ignore him. They beat him unconscious and then stole his wallet and all his credit cards and everything. So what's wrong with our society right now? They want to drive a wedge between us. They want you to hate everybody else. And it's their fault you don't have what you have. There's no way that taxing the rich is going to make everybody prosper. It's just not going to happen. It's getting to the point where you just shake your head at what they think that is the right thing to do. These people don't care what they write about. They come out and they sit there and they immediately blast, anybody that's white that is a gun owner. Mike Allen had a guy on his show on Wednesday night, probably 3 weeks ago. I can't remember his name, but he was the biggest racist I've ever seen. And he was black. It doesn't have to, you don't have to be, just because you're white doesn't mean you can only be a racist if you're white. If that's the case, what would they call it then? If you're black and you hate everybody or hate all white people, wouldn't that make you racist? What kills me is the people sit there, and it doesn't matter if they're white or black, and they sit there and they talk about hating Islam. If you hate Islam, you're a racist. No, there's nothing to do with that. And it's not that they hate Islam. It's they hate radical Islam. I don't have any problem with somebody that believes in Islam. As long as their version of Islam doesn't mean marrying kids that are 8 years old and killing people because they like to listen to Western music, or dressing somebody up like they're an umbrella that sits out on a frickin' porch with a full burqa, where the women can't drive and the women can't do this and the women can't do that. They treat them like property. And we sit there and take a blind eye to it, and then Hillary acts like, oh, I'm for women, except for women over in the Middle East. And if you come over here, I'm still not for you. We're still going to make sure that you're, according to Sharia law, your husband can beat you. So what is wrong with that? I talked about it the last two shows, where one of those in Denmark, a high-profile imam is trying to get Denmark to allow them to marry Muslims to marry brides in 8 and 9 years old because it's part of their custom. And people sit there and they say, here in the United States, we call that pedophilia. If you were to marry an 8 and 9 year old bride, we'd call it pedophile. What does our country do? Our country overlooks it, that they do that. Oh, that's their culture. That's the way they were raised. Well, I'm sorry, but we weren't raised that way. We have better moral standards than that. Would you let your 8, 9 year old daughter be treated that way? I played a speech. It was for one Sergeant First Class. God, I got to think of his last name. He was he's being drummed out of the military for standing up for a 4-year-old, or I want to say he was, I'm not sure he's 4 or how old he was, but he's a young Muslim boy that was sexually assaulted and abused for 4 days. He was tied to a post, and the local police sexually abused this kid for 4 days. And our government said, don't step in. I'm sorry, I couldn't stand there and watch it. I'm sorry, I'd lose it too. I'd rather get kicked out of the military than have that little kid get treated like he did. Sometimes you got to stand up for what's right. You know, if depending on how old you are, you realize how much the world has changed. What you believe in is from where you were brought up and who brought you up. I'm going to get into that later. We're going to talk about, what we all have a tendency to believe in. But talking about, I got a message in Facebook here popping up. A friend of mine telling me he's going to stop by. Good deal. Good. Glad to see that. Not tonight, or during the show, of course. He'd probably be too chicken to come on. But next article I want to get into is this came out. Let's see here. It was. Here we go. This article is written by a good friend of mine, Glenn Kennedy. He's been on the show before, and he was. This article that came out of. He carried it from Stu Webb. StuWebb.com is a noted whistleblower, and this is. He's been an activist for 31 years, whistleblower activist. He says this article went out, and let me see if I can find a date on the article here, but it was, it says U.S. President John F. Kennedy murder case reopened. This came out, article by Tom Hennigan, internal intelligence expert. It says United States of America is now, or can now be reported that a U.S. military court in Washington, D.C. has reopened the investigation into the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Note, there are no statute of limitations for murder or high treason. It says new evidence has been supplied to the U.S. military court and the U.S. Michigan flag officers from the Russian Federation, French, and Vatican intelligence dealing with the JFK assassination, including a 1963 film that is now available in high definition that clearly shows 5 shooters firing at the President of the United States in Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas on November 22nd, 1963. It says current U.S. Ambassador to Japan, Carolyn Kennedy, now has a copy. I'll tell you what, I'd be getting that copy to somebody other than me if she had it. 7 arrest warrants have been issued by the U.S. military court and the legendary U.S. Michigan flag officers for individuals still alive and tied to plot assassinate President Kennedy with 5 of the individuals residing in the treasonous state of Texas, it says. The major warrant deals with immediate arrest of former U.S. President, CIA Director, and Nazi skull and bones German George Herbert Walker Bush. I don't know if they added that into that, but that's what it is. It says, P.S. the notes of late U.S. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, who was executed for high treason by the Patriot U.S. Michigan flag officers, are now in possession of the U.S. military court, including those dealing with the cover-up of the 1963 JFK assassination and the Nazi German skull and bones Bush crime family plot and conspiracy to assassinate former President Ronald Reagan using Bush family crony John Hinckley as a triggerman. Well, this is all hearsay. So it says, note the important to remember, as reported by the then Washington Times, that Silverado Savings and Loan Denver, Colorado based bank Dick, Nazi German now Bush, I don't know why they keep saying that, has reservations to have dinner with brother of the bought and paid assassin Bush crime family stooge, John Hinckley, the day after the attempted assassination of U.S. President Ronald Reagan. It says the U.S. military court in Washington, D.C., along with the U.S. military Michigan flag officers, are also in possession of the notes and emails from the now executed treasonous Italian fascist late U.S. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, showing that Scalia was in communication on the day of the year 2000 presidential election with major Florida law firms, including Florida election officials, reference Katherine Harris, then Florida Governor Jeb Bush, in preparation to shut down any real count in the state of Florida, which would show the Vice President Al Gore Jr. Carthage, Tennessee, easily won the state of Florida by over 70,000 votes and was elected President of the United States. So they're saying that they were involved with shutting down the... This is news to me. I had not heard this. It's scary to think what with our election process can be done. You look at the current election as the way it's going. Hillary and I win 6 coin flips. What's the odds of that? She gets trounced in South Carolina. Then they go to Nevada, and she wins in Nevada. Well, right now, she has 500 and some of their electoral votes that they need, or whatever, for their delegates, or whatever they call them, for her to be the nominee, and Bernie Sanders has 70. Apparently, they are all falling in line for her. Why, I have no idea. What she has on them, she must have a dossier of crap on them that you wouldn't believe. Probably got just any kind of, it just tells you how dirty the politics are. How many people are involved in to control what our elections and what our government is? You look at how many people are, when they talk about, so-and-so is related to so-and-so, and they're a big attorney with this family, and then they, they're heading up this, and you look at like in the World Trade Center, Bush's grandson, Senior Bush, President Bush, his grandson, was head of security. So, little coffee. But no, it's crazy to think these articles that come out, and I mean, whether they're all word for word true, but some of them are. I had to laugh at the latest one where they interviewed Hillary and asked her if she'd ever lied. And I mean, holy crap, I almost choked. Her eyes looked like saucers. She was so big, like, oh, well, I've always tried to tell the truth. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I got a bridge for you. She is so full of crap. But the amazes me is she lied about Benghazi. She knew it. It was a flat-out lie. Everybody knows it's a lie. And people will still vote for her. When we get back, we're going to talk about the former CIA officer that talked about how the administration, what happened in that situation. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get into that.
Eastern Time for Straight Talk with Matt Hasley. Live audio on TuneIn Radio and Spreaker.com. Plus live video on Ustream.tv. From the demented minds at ArmedRadioGlobal.com.
Mom, can you pack me some cookies for school today?
Finally, as a mother, I want to share about St. Julian's macaroons. I am concerned about my child's health, so I pack for his lunchbox, and after school, I give him St. Julian's macaroons as a healthy alternative to many of the store-bought cookies. There are no preservatives and only 100 calories, and he really likes them. So find them in the freezer section at your local supermarket or order online today at www.macaroons.com.
Hey, Joe Rocks, it's Louis Avis, straight from Chi-Town. Call and talk about our website, www.hotsaucevault.com. We got everything you can think of out there, Joe. The hottest hot sauces, not for wimps, mild, medium sauces. We got barbecue sauces, snacks, some of our gift ideas and gag gifts, so you can go out and check us out at www.hotsaucevault.com. Hope to talk to you again on your radio show. Kick-ass show. Had a great time last week. Hope to hear from you soon. Take care, Joe. hotsaucevault.com.
If you're looking to reward, celebrate, recognize, or advertise, get help from the pros at Creative Marketing. Custom imprinted products to give that event a lasting impression. Log on to Creative Marketing on Facebook and click the Call Us button. With over 700,000 products, we're sure to find what is right for you. Remember, think Creative Marketing for all your adware needs.
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand-new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Hey everyone, I want to tell you all about an amazing salon. Joyce's, located at 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Joyce's specializes in the latest techniques in coloring, styling, cutting, and beach waves. Joyce's features Sukesha all-natural nutrient products in organic color. Joyce's full-service spa and salon, located at 132 Ferry Street, Everett, Massachusetts. 617-387-6688. Specializing in you.
Hey everybody, Mike Allen here. You can hear me live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on TuneIn Radio. Or you can visit my website at www.ontheairwithmikeallen.com for more show times, updates, and replays. So remember, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, on the air with Mike Allen, right here on Armed Radio Global.
Like a shadow in the night. My hair was standing on end. I was frozen in fear. I couldn't believe it. They really are here. Make sure you join the Alien Invasion Response Team. Tune in for the message every Monday and Friday for Straight Talk with Matt Hasley, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, only on Armed Radio Global. Be ready
Hey there, sexy. This is comedian Jenny Lavoie. You can catch me with the rest of the gang every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern on Night Talk with Joe Ross, exclusively on Armed Radio Global. Mwah!
Tune in.
And we're back. Right before we get into the topic we're talking about, where I went to break, I'm going to talk about a new California bill. You know, they don't have strong enough gun control. It says this came out, and it was on ABC 10, which is a station. It says California bill will require video recording all gun sales. It says all California gun sales are required to be videotaped under bill proposed by Sacramento Assembly member Kevin McCarty. I think a lot of gun stores in California do this already. McCarty, a Democrat, said recording gun sales, it's for their own protection to make sure they see what's happening with these guns, happening with these guns transactions. It says San Francisco lawmakers passed a local ordinance that last fall that mandates gun store record sales. The move led to closure of the city's only gun shop. The proponent of McCarthy's bill contend if all gun sales are videotaped, it would either deter people from legally buying guns or for other people who cannot pass background checks. So McCarty's bill, AB 2459, does a few other things beyond recording sales. The bill would require a gun dealer to be insured, gives the state attorney general enforcement powers, and bans in-home gun sales by licensed dealers. These residential gun sales are already banned in 59 cities and counties in California. The current penalty for violating the law for the first time would not exceed $500. Failure to take corrective action would result in another violation would not exceed $2,000. But the penalties could be amended as the bill goes through the legislative process. Just another way to control. You know, you don't think of it now, but Chicago, California have some of the strongest gun control laws, and they do not deter gun violence. The death penalty doesn't deter gun violence. You think that if it's all mental health issues, well, right now you have veterans that suffer from PTSD that are afraid to go to a mental health institute because if they do go to a mental health institute, they're afraid that they're going to lose their gun rights. It's like telling an illegal alien, not an undocumented immigrant, because he or she that does not have status in the United States is an illegal alien. And the reason why they're called illegal aliens is because a drug dealer is not called an unlicensed pharmacist. He's a drug dealer, or she's a drug dealer. So if you get somebody that's an illegal alien, they're afraid to come out and go to pay taxes or do anything because they're afraid of getting deported. Same thing. If you have vets that are afraid if they come out and they say, hey, I'm having problems because of blah, 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 PTSD. The Obama administration is going to try to take their guns away. Article came out on Breitbart. It says, Catch-22. Vets fear loss of gun rights if they seek treatment for PTSD. So what are they going to do? They're not going to go to PTSD or go to get treated for PTSD. It says, although numerous combat vets from Iraq and Afghanistan need treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder, many are increasingly hesitant to pursue treatment because they fear prognosis of PTSD will be used to deny their gun rights under the Obama administration. A combat vet confined to a wheelchair recently spoke to Breitbart News saying, I was diagnosed with PTSD. What's being done to be sure my guns aren't taken away. He said he lives with the added anxiety of questioning every trip to the doctor, fearing that he is one visit away from having his gun rights snuffed out. To clear, veterans have worried about the state of their gun rights for a number of years. At first, the concern was tied to whether a veteran could manage his or own money. In July 2015, the Los Angeles Times reported on a strategy used by the Department of Veteran Affairs, whereby a veteran declared incompetent to manage pension or disability payments, an assigned fiduciary is reported to the National Institute Criminal Background Check System, NICS. Translation, the ability to handle money following the strain of war and possible life and death battles is being used to deny certain veterans the rights to buy a gun. This came into stark relief January 5th when Obama executive gun control included a ban on gun ownership for some Social Security beneficiaries, like the ban on being applied to veterans. The Social Security gun ban is based on whether beneficiaries can handle their own finances. And the new ban, plus Obama's expanded emphasis on using the category of mental health to keep guns out of the hands of more people, has veterans worried that a trip to the doctor to discuss symptoms of PTSD could result in loss of gun rights. If I go to my doctor for a normal checkup, and the doctor says, do you have any guns at home? I'm going to tell him no. It's actually none of his business. If I have a gun at home, somebody made this statement, and I saw it, posted it, and it was kind of they made a comical meme about it, but it said, having a 10-round magazine or 10-round plus magazine in your weapon, what does that have anything to do with hunting? And it says it has nothing to do with hunting. The Second Amendment wasn't written in response to hunting. The Second Amendment was written in response to government. So, our people right now, any veteran that comes back is in fear of losing their weapons. It's been reported today that if you follow InfoWars or if you follow any of the conservative publications that talk about like Drudge Report, Breitbart, anybody that talks about government, then you could be labeled. And what I'll do is I'll read or touch on the article here, but it says let's see here. It says let's see here. I have probably 30 articles that it takes me forever to find the one I want. I got to do a new system of we still haven't got into the Apple deal, and I want to talk about that. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Got it now. All right. And this also came out off of InfoWars. And that's, if you're not familiar with InfoWars or Prison Planet, that's Alex Jones. It says, backing InfoWars may be considered material support of terrorism. In October, with little fanfare, the Justice Department created a new position to emphasize the threat the government says it faces from so-called domestic extremists. Homegrown violent extremists can be motivated by any viewpoint on the full spectrum of hate, anti-government views, racism, bigotry, anarchy, and other despicable beliefs. John Carlin, in charge of DOJ's National Security Division, told a seminar on terrorism at George Washington University. The event was hosted by the Southern Poverty Law Center, SPLC. Carlin said the government and law enforcement now consider individuals and groups opposed to the authority of the state to be top terrorism concern, and a threat, he said, overshadows Muslim extremism. Really? So, if you question your government, you're more radical than radical Muslim beliefs. So when Bush was in office and they were all attacking every decision that the Republicans made, and then the president before that, and the president before that. So any president that comes in, if you have a difference of opinion, so what are they going to do? If a senator steps up and he says, I disagree with the opinion, and he's outspoken and vocal, what are they going to do? Arrest him because he's considered a terrorism suspect? That's part of our government. It's part of one of the amendments. We get to redress our grievances to the government. This is how we redress them. I have never heard Alex Jones say, stand up and fight your government. The way they fight the government is through legal means. I've heard him say that over and over again. I've never heard him say, stand up and pick up arms against your government. I don't want anybody to start a fight with our government because you're in a losing battle. We need to do is get the government to work with us so we don't lose our rights. That's all I'm trying to do is stand up for. I think that we, as gun owners, we should be able to do is keep our amendment right. I hate to see veterans have their rights taken away just because they need help. There was 8 police officers shot this year so far, I think it is. If not, I take it back. 8 killed, more shot. And they do less time talking about them than they do about just about anything. It's amazing how they do. Nothing to see here. Move on, move on, move on. But if you are on a mailing list because you subscribe to their feed and they send you emails and stuff, you can be considered a possible terrorist. Or they call anti-government extremists. It says in 2009, a document produced by the Department of Homeland Security, right-wing extremism, current economic and political climate fueling resurgence in radicalization and recruitment, characterized patriot political groups that reject federal authority in favor of state and local authority or reject government authority entirely as domestic terrorists. I just worry that we're going to have more Waco situations. I was amazed that more people didn't get killed in Oregon. I'm glad to see they didn't. Do I think it was handled correctly? No. We have, what we're talking about is our current administration, or wants to do is get Apple to submit. Let me see if I can find that article. They made a great analogy of it, and they were talking about, let me see if I can find that. I tell you what, the way it came out, it made total sense. And let's see if it was back in my timeline, so it'll take me a second to find it there. Might have been in my group. But it was talking about Apple, how the government wants to do is they want Apple to, I guess, write software that'll allow them to hack into the San Bernardino shooter's phone that they haven't been able to get into. If they go by the actual process, which is their the current methods to it would take them 100 and some years to get into it. But I got some information on that too. But this is an analogy that came out. It says, imagine you owned hundreds of rental homes. And imagine that one of your tenants in one of your homes committed a horrendous crime. All right? The FBI got a search warrant for that house and asked you to open the door to investigate. You probably wouldn't have a problem with that, would you? Probably not. But imagine that they didn't do that. Imagine instead they said, hey, all these locks and doors and other security features you have on your rental properties are too difficult for us to get through when we need to search somebody's house. So we want you to give us the keys and alarm codes to all the rental properties, even though no one in those houses committed a crime. That's a much different situation. And that's what the argument between Apple and the FBI is about. The FBI is not asking Apple to unlock a single phone. They're trying to force Apple to give them the key to every iPhone in the world. That is why this is important. And it's got potential to turn into humans in history's biggest battle over your right to privacy. I said, think about this. If they force Apple to give up the software to get into the phone. I don't know what it's going to do. It might be like they're talking about, it might be like Pandora's box, because they will be able to do just about anything. They're talking about, this came out over Bloomberg Business. It says Apple's new lawyer calls iPhone unlock order Pandora's box. As Apple Incorporated newly hired outside lawyer, in its first remark on a U.S. court order requiring the company to unlock the iPhone of a dead terrorist, said the move could imperil the privacy of millions of people around the world. Former U.S. Solicitor General Ted Olson, a partner with the law firm Gibson, Dunn, and Crutcher, said on ABC This Week the program that order would open a Pandora's box of privacy issues. This is not just one magistrate in San Bernardino, said Olson, whose wife died in September 11, 2001, terror attacks. There are hundreds of magistrates. There are hundreds of other courts. In rejecting the magistrate's decree, Apple has ignited a long simmering battle between the tech industry and the government, pitting concerns over civil liberties against the need for surveillance to fight terrorism. Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump waded into the battle last week by urging people to boycott Apple products until it complied. Well, I'm against Trump on that. They said there's software out there that could crack that phone now, but they want Apple to give up the software to be able to have it all the time. And so this case is entirely overstated. John Miller, the New York Police Department Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterrorism, said on This Week, after Olson's appearance, the giant parade of terribles, as he described Apple's worries over government breaches of similarities, is absurd. They've already done it. On Tuesday, U.S. Magistrate Judge Sherry Pym, PYM, ordered Apple to lend reasonable technical assistance to the FBI in recovering information from the iPhone used by Syed Rizwan Farouk, who teamed up with his wife in December to kill 14 people in San Bernardino, California. Chief Executive Officer Tim Cook posted a letter to Apple's website last week saying that the directive would create a dangerous precedent that could ultimately require the company to build software to help governments intercept private emails and access private health records. It says federal officials say Apple's concerns are exaggerated, intended to protect its image and market position rather than the customer's privacy, and that the government is simply seeking help one time to determine whether Farouk and his wife had contact with outside terrorist groups such as Islamic State. More broadly, police departments throughout the country have said that the use of increasingly sophisticated encryption by companies such as Apple is stymieing investigators. John McAfee, who is one of the makers of online software for protecting you against viruses and stuff like that, he came out and offered the government that he would he said he would hack the iPhone. It says John McAfee offers to hack terrorist iPhone for the FBI. And if people don't know it, John McAfee is also running for president, but he doesn't get any publicity. And it says John McAfee, inventor of one of the world's widely used computer antivirus programs, offered in a Business Insider piece published Thursday to help the FBI hack into the encrypted iPhone. And one of the suspect December mass shootings, Apple CEO Tim Cook on Tuesday turned down a request for the FBI. So, said McAfee offered the services of his misfit hackers to defuse the standoff between Apple and the FBI. And I guarantee you he could probably get into it, you know. And it says, so here is my offer to the FBI. I will, free of charge, decrypt the information on San Bernardino phone with my team. We will primarily use social engineering, and it will take us 3 weeks, McAfee wrote. If you accept my offer, then you will not need to ask Apple to place a backdoor in its product, which would be the beginning of the end of America. He said this solution would solve FBI's immediate problem with the cell phone and eliminate concerns of privacy critics who fear the backdoor technology could be misused. At points, his message seemed to taunt the feds. McAfee, who is running for president as a libertarian, said the FBI hit this impasse because it only hires straight-laced computer experts who are less talented than his prodigies. And why do the best hackers on the planet not work for the FBI? Because the FBI will not hire anyone with a 24-inch purple mohawk, 10-gauge ear piercings, and a tattooed face, who demands to smoke weed while working and won't work for less than $500,000 a year. He wrote, but you bet your ass that Chinese and Russians are hiring similar people with similar demands and have been for many years. It's why we are decades behind the cyber race. That's from John McAfee. Well, I got to agree with him there. It's not how that person looks. It's what that person can do. Why do you think they hack into everything? Because they have the technology to do it. Most of them do it for fun. So, speaking of the digital age, when we get back, we're going to talk more about that, about what's going on with cell phones and everything right now. So, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back here shortly.
Mom, can you pack me some cookies for school today?
Finally, as a mother, I want to share about St. Julian's macaroons. I am concerned about my child's health, so I pack for his lunchbox, and after school, I give him St. Julian's macaroons as a healthy alternative to many of the store-bought cookies. There are no preservatives and only 100 calories, and he really likes them. So find them in the freezer section at your local supermarket or order online today at www.macaroons.com.
Hey, Joe Rocks, it's Louis Avis, straight from Chi-Town. Call and talk about our website, www.hotsaucevault.com. We got everything you can think of out there, Joe. The hottest hot sauce is not for wimps, mild, medium sauces. We got barbecue sauces, snacks, some of our gift ideas and gag gifts, so you can go out and check us out at www.hotsaucevault.com. Hope to talk to you again on your radio show. Kick-ass show. Had a great time last week. Hope to hear from you soon. Take care, Joe. hotsaucevault.com.
If you're looking to reward, celebrate, recognize, or advertise, get help from the pros at Creative Marketing. Custom imprinted products to give that event a lasting impression. Log on to Creative Marketing on Facebook and click the Call Us button. With over 700,000 products, we're sure to find what is right for you. Remember, think Creative Marketing for all your adware needs.
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Hey everyone, I want to tell you all about an amazing salon. Joyce's, located at 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Joyce's specializes in the latest techniques in coloring, styling, cutting, and beach waves. Joyce's features Sukesha all-natural nutrient products and organic color. Joyce's full-service spa and salon, located at 132 Ferry Street, Everett, Massachusetts. 617-387-6688. Specializing in you.
Hey everybody, Mike Allen here. You can hear me live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on TuneIn Radio. Or you can visit my website at www.ontheairwithmikeallen.com for more showtimes, updates, and replays. So remember, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, on the air with Mike Allen, right here on Armed Radio Global.
Hey there, sexy. This is comedian Jenny Lavoie. You can catch me with the rest of the gang every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern on Night Talk with Joe Ross, exclusively on Armed Radio Global. Mwah!
And right before we went to break, we were talking about we got on kind of on digital tech stuff. Talking about Apple and the encryption software, but apparently digital wary users are switching to dumb phones instead of smartphones. It says in January, British actor Eddie Redmayne made headlines all around the world as he became the latest and growing ban of smartphone refuseniks. It was a reaction against being glued permanently to my iPhone during waking hours. He explained, turning instead to an old-fashioned dumb phone handset that could only make and take calls. He's not alone. There's a small but busy market for iPhone or for phones that are simple and cheap. And at a time when smartphones are becoming even more complex and expensive. Feature phones such as handsets with basic functions such as playing music and accessing the internet are gradually being replaced by low-cost smartphones. According to Francisco Geronimo, research director for the European mobile device at IDC, the research group, but there is still a significant demand for older style phones. Strategy Analytics and Research Group estimate that 44 million basic phones were sold in 2015, accounting for 2% of the global market. Some phone makers, such as Sony and LG, have already turned their back on the market, but others, like Microsoft and Samsung, are still producing devices every year aimed at the featured market. Well, there's no way my parents could handle... well, my mom might be able to, but it would take some work. But the smarter the phone is makes no difference for my dad. He needs it as basic as you can get. It's not that he's dumb. It's just that the technology is not something that he's going to use. Why would he need all these extra gadgets on it? The only time he ever really uses it to make calls, and he doesn't like even talking on the phone in general. If you talk to him on the phone for 2 minutes, it's surprising. But, you look at what technology, what's sad is you see kids that are sitting around a table and there'll be 6 or 8 kids and every single one of them is looking at their smartphone. They don't even talk to the kids that are there. They're looking at the smartphone, and they're texting them. They're texting each other back and forth, sitting at the table. They're getting this, what they call, cell phone neck or whatever it is. You're sitting with your head down like this all the time. I used to have mine, and I used to tether my laptop at work. I finally got it to where I don't need to do that anymore. I'm able to solve it without having to tether my work. Got away from the need for being online all the time. I'm almost tempted to go back to a dumber phone that just makes phone calls, because about the only thing I use it for is the weather, to check what the temperature is and what the forecast is going to be. I don't even use it for music. I have no music. I have an iPhone 6 Plus with 0 music on it. Don't even listen to the music. Main thing I use it for is if I have to stream some news program, because I can't stream it off my work. So I stream it off my phone, and then I listen to it off of Bluetooth speakers. And I listen to all the different podcasts and stuff like that at work. But I mean, it's getting to the point where your phone is so smart, but the problem people don't realize, just the thing what Apple's talking about, that phone is, people talk about, I'm not going to get an implant, I'm not going to get a chip implant. You have one already. You implanted it in your pocket. You carry it everywhere you go. If you go somewhere and you forget your phone, you feel like you're naked. Like, oh crap, I forgot my phone. You feel like you're not going to be able to do it. Nobody's going to call me. Nobody's going to contact me. What am I going to do? Oh my God, I got to get my phone. Did you see my phone? You know where it's at? I mean, they're freaking out about their phone. They said, I won't put a microchip in me. You already got one. You got it shoved in your pocket. And shoving that phone in your pocket, there's a story that came out, and this come across the Telegraph, the UK Telegraph. It said mobile phones are cooking men's sperm. It said the study finds level of men who kept their phones in their pocket during the day were quite seriously affected in 47% of the cases. It says fertility experts are warning that a man using a mobile phone as little as an hour a day is cooking sperm and lowering level significantly. Me, I don't care, because I've already had, 3 kids. So, but it says new study shows that a mobile phone close to the testicles or within a foot or two of the body can lower sperm level as much as that conceiving could be difficult. The findings have led to a leading British fertility expert to advise men to stop being addicted to mobile phones. I'm wondering if that mobile phone could have effect on the sperm, that when the child is born, the phone, with the levels of radio waves and stuff like that, if it would have any effect on the child being attention deficit or birth defects or anything like that. I'm wondering if they come out with that in the future to understand. And then I see people that they think, well, if I carry my phone and I put the Bluetooth in my ear, that it's not gonna cause any problems. You see people walking around with that Bluetooth all the time, and when you first see them, you don't realize they have the Bluetooth in, and they're talking. They'll come into the golf course, and they'll be talking away, and you think they're talking to you. They won't even get off the phone when they're checking in. They're so important. I see guys that they're so important, they got to have that Bluetooth all the time. And I'm just like, my God, can't you get off the phone for a minute and handle what's in front of you? It says, if you wear a suit to work, put the mobile phone in your chest pocket instead of close to your testes. It will reduce your risk of sperm count dropping or dropping so much. That was Professor Geddes Gruzinskis. Probably not pronouncing that very well. It's Professor Martha Dinfield, the technician, University of Haifa, said we have analyzed the amount of active swimming sperm, and the quality found it has been reduced. Well, they've been talking about these phones being a danger for years. And they sat there and said, nope. It's almost like smoking. No. You know, cigarettes are good for you. That's what they originally came out. I mean, you how many times did you, hear about when the cigarettes were way back when I was a kid? They had billboards, they had magazine advertisements, they had commercials. And, they've come to find out that they do cause cancer. And they're addictive. So what is the chance that these are going to cause cancer and be cause, low birth rate? They have a new thing out now where I guess you can put your phone in a case and it restricts the wave, the radio waves or whatever it is, so it doesn't have any effect on you. And I would think getting that. It's like, you see these, I don't know what they call them. They're for where they put your credit cards in. It's like something ID wallet, I love the commercial where the old lady, it says, getting to know you. And she says, while you're walking me across the street, I'm stealing all your info with, I said, it's amazing that people are that, they're like that. Exactly. They prey on the innocence of people. So they, you got these ID wallets for that. Well, an ID wallet or a type of deal for your phone would be a good idea, if it does anything to block it, because who knows? I mean, you don't want to find out, 20 years down the road that, well, I used to carry a phone in my pocket all the time, and now I have a cancerous tumor in my hip, because there are things that we thought were innocent and did not cause anything years ago, and now we're finding out that actually are bad for you. If you Sony Xperia, they want to put an AI assistant, this is new technology stuff, in your ear. And it says Sony has announced the earpiece that puts a virtual assistant in one of its owner's ears. It brings smartphone technology closer to the artificial intelligence experience depicted in the movie Her. However, Sony will need to overcome the public resistance to wearing Bluetooth headsets. The Japanese company also unveiled smartphones, it says, are the first to have technology to extend the lifespan of handset batteries. It announced the new device on the day of the Mobile World Congress Technology Show in Barcelona. Sony ranks outside the world top 10 best-selling smartphone brands. It suffered 20% fall in its smartphone shipment last year, according to market research firm IDC. The manufacturer is not trying to increase sales by cutting prices in a bid to stop its mobile division losing money. However, some analysts have questioned whether that approach makes sense. It says voice control. Sony said the Xperia Ear was part of the plan to extend the Xperia brand beyond tablets, and iPhones. The device features a proximity sensor that informs a wirelessly linked Android smartphone when it is in the user's ear. An app on the phone then provides location, time-based prompts about the weather, diary appointments, and social media posts, missed calls, and news. It can also respond to voice commands, internet searches, navigation directions, and message dictations. The idea is to free the users from having to handle their phones so often. The battery life is limited to 3.5 hours of active use, but Sony suggests that this will be enough for most users most days. I'm waiting for them to come up with like you drive your car and you get the heads-up display. I know they had that in the Google Glass, but that was creepy to watch people walk around with a camera. Anything to get you to where the technology. They showed a Zuckerberg picture, and it was on, I don't know, probably had 1,000 people in this one auditorium, and every single one of them was wearing those Samsung VRs, virtual reality. They want to get you to where you're so dependent on that stuff, the technology, that they can put you in an alternate reality where you're away from what your current. This way you'll be able to find a release, and then you'll get used to it and have to do it every day, and then they're controlling you. I mean, it's like technology is so much in your face now that where they want to do is it's almost like a slow indoctrination. Look at kids. Kids watching TV, every flippin' commercial. Toys, 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 food, 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 food. And it's not good food. It's snacks, crap, junk, everything. Just about every commercial comes up, and it's just crap. We never had that stuff as kids. We never had cartoons 24 hours a day on 4 different channels like they do now. We never had if you wanted to play a video game besides Pong, you had to go to a local, like 7-Eleven or shop and go in there and feed quarters into it and play it. I mean, that's what a lot of the kids did. They went to the bowling alleys and played the video games and stuff. And it's rare to see those anymore. We got a bar here in town that I think it's a bar. I've never been to it yet, but people tell me they got pinball machines, everything, all the older games. So you can go there, have a beer and play the old video games and pinball. Kind of different. Where is it going to go 10 years from now? I don't know, but you look at the games. My son told me they had a new game coming out. It's called, I'm not sure it's called a Division or something like that, but it's a Tom Clancy game. And it's, Tom Clancy was always famous for Rainbow Six and, different books, and they incorporated him into video games. And they got like different levels of the game you can buy. You can buy like your standard, and then you got your, I don't know what it is, Elite Edition, and then Ultimate, and in like the top edition is $99.95. I'm like, holy crap, $100 for a game. I mean, that's shelling out some chunk of change. I remember when games were like $40 and we thought that was expensive. The graphics are crazy. My kids have an Xbox or whatever it is, and some of the graphics. My son plays a golf game in it, and it's just wow. I mean, it's so detailed. You know, it just blows you away that the technology from when when we had video games when they first were coming out to what they are now. I wonder where they're going to be 10 years from now. I don't want to rush it because I don't want to be 10 years older, but I just hope we can make 10 years with all this stuff going on with Russia talking about nuking, using tactical nukes on people, and North Korea talking about nuking South Korea, and blah. I'm just like, wow, our society is going crazy right now. A lot of stuff going on, and you talk to people and they just sit there and they're like sheep. They just ignore it. They don't pay attention to what's going on. So if it's almost time for break again, but with our technology the way it is, Volvo is talking about their new getting rid of the keys. By 2017, they won't have any keys. It'll be a smartphone app that you download, and then it'll be linked just to your car. Well, that's kind of crazy, because you know that if somebody going to find out, they're going to be hacking Volvo cars left and right. I could see those Volvo being hacked because one thing I like about a key is I like the key fob idea, where you have it just in your pocket, push a button, starts the car. But at least I have to have the key fob. I don't want somebody to be able to hack my smartphone app and take my car. And it's very possible they could do that. They could do just about anything. If they can take over a jet inbound because of an app, because of a hole in the system, they're going to be able to take over a car. Start. So I think right now they're talking about they're floating the idea of getting rid of the $100 bill. Anything more than a 50, they're talking about getting rid of. And they're we're going to talk about that when we come back. Talk a little bit about that, but it's you'll understand more about it when we get into it when we get back. So just stay tuned.
Mom, can you pack me some cookies for school today?
Finally, as a mother, I want to share about St. Julian's macaroons. I am concerned about my child's health, so I pack for his lunchbox, and after school, I give him St. Julian's macaroons as a healthy alternative to many of the store-bought cookies. There are no preservatives and only 100 calories, and he really likes them. So find them in the freezer section at your local supermarket, or order online today at www.macaroons.com.
Hey, Joe Rocks, it's Louis Avis, straight from Chi-Town. Call and talk about our website, www.hotsaucevault.com. We got everything you can think of out there, Joe. The hottest hot sauce is not for wimps, mild, medium sauces. We got barbecue sauces, snacks, some of our gift ideas and gag gifts, so you can go out and check us out at www.hotsaucevault.com. Hope to talk to you again on your radio show. Kick-ass show. Had a great time last week. Hope to hear from you soon. Take care, Joe. hotsaucevault.com.
If you're looking to reward, celebrate, recognize, or advertise, get help from the pros at Creative Marketing. Custom imprinted products to give that event a lasting impression. Log on to Creative Marketing on Facebook and click the Call Us button. With over 700,000 products, we're sure to find what is right for you. Remember, think Creative Marketing for all your adware needs.
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand-new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Hey everyone, I want to tell you all about an amazing salon. Joyce's, located at 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Joyce's specializes in the latest techniques in coloring, styling, cutting, and beach waves. Joyce's features Sukesha all-natural nutrient products and organic color. Joyce's full-service spa and salon, located at 132 Ferry Street, Everett, Massachusetts. 617-387-6688. Specializing in you.
Hey everybody, Mike Allen here. You can hear me live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on TuneIn Radio. Or you can visit my website at www.ontheairwithmikeallen.com for more showtimes, updates, and replays. So remember, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, on the air with Mike Allen, right here on Armed Radio Global.
Like a shadow in the night. My hair was standing on end. I was frozen in fear. I couldn't believe it. They really are here. Make sure you join the Alien Invasion Response Team. Tune in for the message every Monday and Friday for Straight Talk with Matt Hasley, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, only on Arm Radio Global. Be ready. They're coming.
Hey there, sexy. This is comedian Jenny Lavoie. You can catch me with the rest of the gang every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern on Night Talk with Joe Ross, exclusively on Armed Radio Global. Mwah!
And we came back for the last segment. But, you're talking about, it says, ban the Benjamins. $100 bills are for criminals and sociopaths. Why do we still print them? The United States government is having a little trouble printing up its newly designed $100 bills. More than 1 billion of these new Benjamins are unusual because they crease in the presses, leaving blank spots on the final product. It's an amusing minor story whose true significance has been missed. And it talks about getting rid of the bills. Well, they are trying to do is they're going to phase out, I bet, eventually the 100. And then they'll phase out the 50. And then all you'll have left are 10s and 20, 1, 5, 10s and 20s. And then they'll eventually try to phase those out. They would like to get rid of all currency. If they get rid of currency, then everything you has to be regulated through some type of card. So there's no working for under the table because they're not going to be able to give you any money under the table. And at the government, go to your bank right now. Let's say they had they were talking about, I heard it on the news today. It was on one of the programs Guy was a banker or what do you call him? Stockbroker. Worth, I don't know how much. He was worth a bunch. Went into his bank and tried to withdraw $5,000. His bank told him it would be 3 weeks. And he went bull crap, closed his account. They're going to do is eventually phase out all currency. If they phase out all currency, everything will have to be documented. Otherwise, you have no money. And people go, oh, well, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any difference to me. Well, it makes a difference to the person, the poor person, the person that is taking back cans to get by. All that money is going to have to be regulated. They won't have any cash money to buy things. It'll all have to be on a card. I hope we don't get to that level. Speaking of cash money, there was a story that went out. Apparently, 50 Cent is having to he's having to answer questions because apparently judge orders 50 Cent to explain Instagram cash stacks in a bankruptcy court. Hate it or love it, 50 Cent is going to have to explain all those Benjamins. Says a judge has ordered to supposedly cash-strapped rapper to bankruptcy court to justify his many Instagram photos flaunting fat stacks of cash. It says, I'm concerned about the allegations of non-disclosure and lack of transparency in the case. If you look at his photo, he's got stacks of $100 bills, and they spell out the words broke. And to me, every one of them's a $100 bill, it looks like. And it's not just one bill. It's stacks of bills. And then he's got another one where he has stacks and stacks of bills in his fridge. All $100 bills. And they got another one of him laying on his bed with stacks of hundreds all over him. So he's got a little bit to answer to the judge. You know, why are you going to bankruptcy court if you... So the rapper is claimed to collectively owe $29 million. Maybe he can get him and what's his doofus, Kanye West. Maybe he can get Zuckerman to donate money to him too. But you know, talking about stupid criminals, I had a weird story I come across. And I don't know where this one is just, wow. This is an older story, but when I saw it, I was just like, man, oh man, geez, I just have to deal with somebody like this. It said, it's titled, This Guy is a Total Jerk-Off. Well, in more ways than one, a judge ordered a California man convicted for ejaculating into a coworker's water bottle to pay more than $27,000 to his victim. Superior Court Judge Walter Schwarm said Monday Michael Kevin Lalana of Fullerton, California must pay restitution for therapy and loss of wages. Wow. Here's another article. It's golfers on their A game. He says, I'm against performance-enhancing drugs, even in golf. 7 people were sent to the hospital after eating marijuana-laced brownies at a golf course. Police said an employee at the golf course brought brownies made with marijuana to work Thursday and shared the batch with coworkers who didn't know the brownies were laced. I bet that was a wild day. I've never had anything happen like that at the golf course, and thank God. Here's one. There was an article that came out. You ever seen the cheesy knots garlic? It's out by Pizza Hut. Well, apparently, this happened. Let me see. It says must have been yesterday or so, but they updated the article today. It said Palm Coast, a disagreement over cheesy knots garlic sparked a melee inside a Palm Coast pizzeria and led to 4 arrests late Friday night, according to deputy reports. They've got all the people's names. Were all charged with burglary and criminal mischief in connection with the incident. Jones, who was also booked on 1 count of marijuana possession, all 4 of the Palm Coast suspects have been released from jail Sunday afternoon. And they go through all their money and what their bond sat at and then their thing. According to a Flagler County Sheriff's Office report, one began arguing with the employees at a Palm Coast Pizza because they say put cheese on her order of garlic knots. To her dismay, she demanded her money back and became incensed when a clerk placed her money on the counter in which she perceived to be a disrespectful manner. That's when Vincent, Conti, Cody, and Jones stormed into the pizzeria, and the 4 suspects began ransacking the eatery. Employees told deputies they knocked a fax machine and cash register off the front counter, then entered the kitchen area, closed off to the public, and began throwing food in pizza boxes everywhere. At some point, someone threw a glass of Parmesan cheese container at a television screen in the lobby and damaged it. Employee estimated the damage at less than $1,000. But, you get... Because they put cheese on her cheesy knots. Or over her garlic knots or whatever it is. I'm like going, what the hell is wrong with people? Yeah. Because you got cheese accidentally sprinkled on your cheesy knots, that means we should go off. That's the same type of person that when Mom told them to go to the room, they flopped on the ground and started pounding their fists and banging their feet. It's amazing. People are, they act like they're 10. Talking about, let's see here. I had a list of, let's see if I can find that one. Oh, here's an article about, this is great. Sheriff stood up for people. It says, Sheriff warning to feds. It says, stop harassing us or my men and I will arrest you. Then this happens. An Indiana farmer who produces and sells raw milk has been harassed by the FDA and DOJ every couple of weeks for a lengthy period of time. Apparently, Sheriff Brad Rogers decided enough was enough, that the farmers were doing nothing wrong and the milk was in no danger to anyone. He told the feds in no uncertain terms if they came back again this farmer, they would be charged and arrested. Guess what? They backed off. The sheriff emailed, I understand that you made recent requests to the farmer for documents to appear before a grand jury and the number of inspections and attempted inspection on his farm. This is a notice to any further attempts to inspect this farm without a warrant signed by a judge based on probable cause will result in federal inspectors' removal or arrest for trespassing by my officers. That's what we need. Said shortly after the email was sent, the farmer received a certified letter from the DOJ said that his grand jury subpoena had been canceled. No federal inspectors had visited him since 2011. We need more sheriffs to stand up for the people like this. I like that. But this is article went out. It says oops, wrong one. Opened the wrong one there. It's it says this is 10 bizarre things people believe in, and some of the things aren't people. And this is one I was just like going, what the heck? Rumpology. I never heard of this. Has to do with psychic readings of your looking at their derriere. Give me a break. Mike Allen had a guy on flat Earth. Guy believing that Earth is flat, and has proof. Psychic surgery. People believe that. Pyramid power. Some people believe that the pyramids have something to do with it. Attachment therapy. Said according to attachment therapy, the primary reason kids behave is they have not properly bonded with their parent or caregiver. In order to find a solution to this problem, the parent, guided by a therapist, must use a variety of methods to push the child towards the point of catharsis, at which point the younger will be able to behave with suitable amount of affection. Melanin theory, whatever that is. Melanin is something which can be absorbed through electromagnetic radiation, convert light and magnetic fields into sound, process information without a brain, in which possesses a soul. Well, it sounds like something from science fiction movie. Melanin theorists believe that all these properties are found in, you guessed it, melanin. Body earthing. It says people have a variety of convictions relating to prevalence of modern diseases. Some think that processed foods, sedentary lifestyles, or increased exposure to toxins are among the causes. Well, I think that a lot of the stuff that we are becoming sick with are because of all the toxins and everything we have in our food. Genetically modified organisms. If you look at we had people that ate all this stuff way back. Ate pork, ate beef, ate everything all the time. Didn't have all the stuff, and we didn't have near the ADHD, near the amount of birth defects or different stuff like that. It's crazy to think of what's going on with our society. Here's the one that grossed me out. Ugh. Urine therapy. In the eyes of believers, there's virtually nothing urine can't do. It's a cure to everything from flu to cancer. It can even beautify the skin and lead to enlightenment by operating a person's third eye. Well, I don't want my third eye to work. People ingest urine, rub it on their bodies, and are known to get used to it both warm, straight from the source, or cold. Oh. It says the practice by no means is new. It actually dates back to the ancient Roman times and is referenced in multiple long-standing religions. Urine drinking is so widespread in India that in 2009, an Indian Hindu group had plans to manufacture a product consisting of aloe vera, gooseberry, and cow urine. Their motivation was to promote health and to oppose Western food imports, but unlikely that Coca-Cola needs to start worrying it. Yeah, I don't know what you would call that. Special name for that, but that sounds pretty gross to me. I'll pass. The next one is memetics or something like that. Looking at grumpy cats, honey badgers, videos, and ridiculously photogenic guys aren't just things you need to waste your time on. According to those who promote memetics, these and other memes, which are units of capable, involving, and self-replicating, just like human genes. It's talking about the memes that they do on Facebook and stuff like that. Dowsing. Dowsing is the practice of using rods or sticks to locate things underground. Often the thing in question is water. But oil, metal, gems, and gravestones are also frequently sought after. We have this thing called metal detector. That would work for metal. And I'm sure that you could probably do his ground penetrating radar. Use that to find water rather than two sticks. And, but urine therapy. Ooh. Yeah, that one kind of freaks me out. Let's see. What else can we get into before we, the end of the show here? Oh, this come out from Apollo. This is a newly released article that come out out of the Daily Mail. Said, listen to newly released NASA audio of mysterious music Apollo 10 astronauts heard on the far side of the moon. While orbiting the moon in 1969, the Apollo 10 team heard weird music. They were on the far side of the moon, so it couldn't have come from Earth. The team debated whether to tell NASA command back home. A recording of the event were classified in 2008 and will be played on the Science Channel NASA Unexplained Files this month. Apollo astronauts who orbited the moon 2 months before Neil Armstrong's famous 1969 landing heard mysterious and unexplainable music on the far side. Out of range of earthly radio transmission, it has emerged. Recently unearthed recordings made by NASA of the journey, which took the Apollo 10 capsule around the far side of the moon, show the astronauts reacting with surprise and confusion to an unearthly howling noise in their headsets. It says you can actually, they have, you can listen to the audio here if you want to go to the Daily Mail, and it's under the news tab, but it was tagged, was it Pink Floyd? Listen to newly released NASA audio of mysterious music Apollo 10 astronauts heard on the far side of the moon. Pretty wild. If we think we're here alone, we have to, I mean, I don't think so. I think that we have to, it would not be very surprising to have, or very far-fetched, I would say, to have, George, a friend of mine, George, shared a nice article. It says, Mars in 3 days. NASA touts new propulsion system. It says, with all the talk of one day launching a human mission to Mars, it would take upwards of 6 months to reach the red planet. But NASA researchers are working on a new laser technology that could allow a craft to reach Mars in as little as 3 days. Known as photonic propulsion, the system would work by using lasers to propel a giant sail. Rather than photons from the sun's rays, the system would get a boost from the Earth-based lasers. That's pretty wild. Do I want to go to Mars? Nope. I don't even like flying to Florida. I'd rather drive. So, yeah, it's interesting. I think they're going to get it down to where it'd be less than that. It'd be zipping to another planet, just like nothing. It says we could propel a 100-kilogram robotic craft to Mars in a few days. If you want to push something like a shuttle class, it'd take you roughly an order of a month to get there. He said within 25 light years of Earth, there are actually quite a few potential exoplanet and habitable things to visit. That may be habitable. We don't know, of course. There are many targets to choose from. The closest is Alpha Centauri, which is about 4 light years away. So, if you want to go to Mars, well, you better get ready. Pretty wild. I think that's a cool story. It is that time. Hard to believe. 2 hours rockets by, and I still have stuff to talk about, but I have to save it for another day. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff I wanted to do is talk about the CIA officer, and you know what? I will. I'm gonna talk just a touch on that just a little bit. This is a Blaze interview. You can go on and listen to her. It said Glenn invited Clara Lopez, a former CIA officer, onto his TV show Monday night to discuss the attack on the U.S. Embassy on Benghazi. Lopez has written extensively on the situation in Libya, as well as Ambassador Stevens' connections to jihadist groups in Libya and Syria. What went on in Benghazi had its roots much further back, Lopez told Glenn. Lopez believed much, as Glenn does, Ambassador Stevens was in Libya for reasons still not publicly known to the American people. It was to act as an official U.S. government liaison to al-Qaeda-linked jihadist militias, and would include some of the people now trying to overthrow Assad in Syria, Lopez said. She wrote the events during the 2011 Libyan revolt against Muammar Gaddafi. Reckless U.S. policy flung American forces and money into a conflict side of the rebels, who were known at the time include al-Qaeda elements. Previously, the number 2 official at the U.S. Embassy in Tripoli, Chris Stevens, was named as the U.S. liaison to Libyan opposition in March 2011. Stevens was tasked with helping coordinate U.S. assistance to the rebels, whose top military commander, Belhaj, was the leader of the al-Qaeda affiliate, the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, LFIG. This means that Stevens was authorized by the Department of State and Obama administration to aid and abet individuals and groups that were, at a minimum, allied ideology with al-Qaeda, the jihadist terror organization that attacked the homeland on the first 9/11, the one that's not supposed to exist anymore after killing of its leader Osama bin Laden on May 2nd, 2011. It says Lopez, who was a CIA officer for 20 years, told Glenn that she had seen agents come under heavy fire in the past, but were always people and assets who assembled to come to their aid. She found it unusual, with all the surveillance White House and administration had on the embassy, that there was not done to provide aid. I've never seen a situation where a facility was under attack like this and nothing happens. Lopez added that Stevens knew he was a potential al-Qaeda target and lacked the security he needed to be in the country. Requests for increased security were denied by the State Department prior to the September 11th attacks. She also said it was her opinion that James Clapper, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and General David Petraeus were all aware of what really happened in Libya. This has to be brought out. This has to be made known to the public, that this is going on, and their administration was not only working with the bad guys, was working with al-Qaeda-linked militias and jihadis to overthrow Assad in Syria, but that they let our mission go down. They let our ambassador and others die in real time, watching it happen, and they didn't do anything about it, Lopez said. If you want to read about it, just search. Go to glennbeck.com, and this was by Wilson. The article was written, And it's part 2 of the interview. You can go and listen to the live interview. Claire Lopez, former CIA officer of over 20 years. So we're going to call it a night. We're a few minutes over. Make sure you do is tune into all the other shows throughout the rest of the week. And like I like to say, everybody, be safe.